Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Planet 63455A-3, ED3N, or Eden, as the thumbnail puts it. This is the first episode that covers the octopods, or the octopus, and the annelids, or worms, being in the Theros seas, the greater and lesser. I would like to clarify that all species are primarily mentioned as, they are, I'm not specifying where they exist in the Theros Sea, but they are located in the lesser or greater Theros Sea. The first of a total of 9 species we will be going over is the Mega Octobraco. It evolved 20,000 Earth years, or 10,000 Eden years, past seeding, and is spread across the greater and lesser Theros seas, being an omnivore and weighing in at 53 to 88 pounds. Now, the second species we will be going over is the Terra Octobraco, or the Earth 8 arms. It is a omnivore that lives almost exclusively in swamps, like the aquatic annelids, or the aquatic earthworms, mentioned later in the video. These animals weighing in at a rather small, considering their ancestors, 15 to 30 pounds, and being a relative of the aforementioned Mega Octobraco, but not a close relative, evolving around 15,000 Earth years, or 30,000 Eden years in. The next species is the giant Lesser Echoes octopus, found exclusively in the Lesser Echoes Sea. Its other name being the Allo Octobraco, meaning strange 8 arms. Being a herbivore with the only true differentiating adaptation being its smaller size and long tentacles used for grasping onto plants like seagrasses and seaweeds, it is a 15 to 40 pound herbivore, as previously mentioned, and is closely related to the Terra Octobraco, evolving around 14,000 Earth years or 7,000 Eden years post-seeding. Our next species, and one of our smallest, is the pygmy octopus, or the Micro Octobraco. Being a tiny herbivore weighing in at 1 to 3 pounds, it evolved just 1,000 Earth years, 500 Eden years post-seeding. It is one of the most common creatures you will find along the shores of the supercontinent Megaterra, or just huge Earth, being the most numerous of all of these 8 squid species, octopus species that we will be going over. This next species is the large-finned octopus, or the Aqua Quadrabraco, the water 4 arms. Being an omnivore coming in at 15 to 20 pounds, it evolved about 20,000 Earth years, 10,000 Eden years post-seeding. But that's not what makes it curious. What makes it a curious species is that it gave rise to the group known as the quadrupods, a group of squids, or octopods, that has evolved to have almost every single member have 4 vestigial tentacles and 4 elongated fin-like tentacles, as well as keratin skeletons with a false backbone and false limb girdles, similar to shoulders, that keep the fins almost completely stationary and immobile, as well as having their ear-like structures, their gills, become some excess fins that are better used for stabilizing. The first of the 2 quadrupods that we go over in this video is the grasper octopus, or the Allo Quadrabrachio, the strange 4 arms, with it having 6 arms. It has 2 elongated tentacles, as was the 2 vestigial ones, and the 4 large fins, as well as the gill fins, as well as a stabilizing fin on the top of its head, similar to the fin on the backs of sharks. This species is a herbivore, coming in at 130 to 170 pounds. It is the reason that one of the aforementioned herbivores is restricted to the Lesser Theros Sea, and has virtually no predators except for the soon-to-be mentioned after the next species that I will not spoil the name of because I think it is quite punny. This species is, in my opinion, the most interesting, being the common tuna quadrupus, or the velociquadrabrachio, or the fast forearms. A small omnivore that has zero parental care, coming in at 5 to 10 pounds, with offspring that come in almost completely developed, although not fully developed, with them ditching the strategy of dying at the first nesting, only laying about 23 eggs, and then abandoning them at the first chance they get. Now we're on to the last squid species before we move on to the single group of annelids that has adapted to true aquatic life. This is the squid that I had the most pun naming. The squiller, or the Polypus vorator, meaning octopus devourer, is a large carnivore coming in at 70 to 100 pounds, with three fin structures, one on the top of its head, similar to a shark, and two on the sides, with 4 tentacles being used as rasping tools that grab hold of other squid, oftentimes creatures like the common Theros octopus and the common tuna quadrupus, before dragging them into a serrated beak and devouring them, tearing them apart before eating them, as the dumbest adaptation of squids is still there. The donut of a brain they have, with an esophagus going straight through. This is the final creature discussed, being the river worm, or the Pisomymus, meaning fish mimic, being an omnivore coming in at 1 to 10 pounds, giving rise to the group known as the Piscerms, or the wormfish, and is one of its only members, and its most successful. This group has developed a clump of nerves closer to the head and a very underdeveloped optic organ. They have a jet underneath what we would call the, neck, I guess, that takes in water that comes in through the skin and pumps it out, creating a jet that moves the worm along as it moves side to side in an undulating motion. Not being a very efficient animal in its locomotive capability, which is why it's not a group that can, adapt as fast as something like a squid. It can also not handle very high levels of salinity, being restricted to rivers, swamps, and lakes. Sorry for the long wait that it took to make this video. I wrote a script that I never ended up using, unfortunately, so most of that came off of the top of my head. But thank you guys for watching. It is my first of a few videos that I want to make based on the, reboot of my original Spec Evo series that I just lost interest in. I'm trying my hardest to look at the screen, guys. I'm really sorry that I can't look at it. I mean it, dude. I mean it. I'm sorry. The next video will be on, the crocodilians and stuff, which means I'm gonna slave away doing all the extra art, because I think I've only drawn, 3 crocodilians, but anyways, thank you guys for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, and comment. Could really use some help on a lot of videos. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hope I'll see you in the next one, which will probably take, again, 3 weeks.